If you are very fortunate, you too will soon be able to have one of these fabulous looking charging stations in the front of your brownstone, of your walk up, of your apartment building, of your neighborhood. Aren't they just lovely? Well, I had to bring this to your attention. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring it to your attention is because it is evident, it's the one of the reasons I don't spend hardly any time at all talking about competitive products, competitive cars, competitive systems, competitive charging approaches. Comp I, I don't talk much about the competition until they're real. I am a product guy. You know this about me. I love product. And every single day, I'm sure you're seeing them too. There's dozens, if not hundreds, of different products being offered for this electric future that we're headed to in the EV space, in the in the supercharger space. Yeah, just on and on and on. All kinds of products, all kinds of new cells, new batteries, new approaches. Yeah, the list just goes on and on. But one of the things about all of these is that until they're much further along in their development, they're just a pipe dream. And quite frankly, in this case, I'm hoping this pipe dream never becomes true. But there are plenty of other folks out there that do cover this kind of new product developments. And this was Electric had this today, as well as the Electric Viking. I used to follow the Electric Viking, but his channel became so much about these beginning programs, these beginning projects, these lab experiments, these items that are never probably going to see the light of day. This was just one more example of that. This one is an electric tree. Now they have money from Google, and this isn't their only product. They've got some products that go in the roof of your carport or the roof of your garage. They could go into a public garage or into an apartment building, into the ceiling, above the cars. That product would be much less intrusive than those trees. And I guess Google likes what they see. Now, the claim is here that they're going to be able to do 500 kilowatts of charging. So be really, really fast. You get down to 5 minutes on a 200-mile charge. But of course, most cars aren't outfitted for that kind of speed of charge. So the reality is that it's going to have to be dumbed down for the cars that are actually going to be using it. This company is claiming that they're going to overtake Tesla in the charging sphere in terms of the number of charging stations available to the folks. If you believe that claim, even with an investment from Google, if you believe that claim, I would appreciate, I'll give you my phone number, email, text, anything you want. You get in touch with me because I have some property on Uranus that I want to sell to you because we'll be on Uranus soon. Anyway, I don't think anybody's going to want that contraption on their street. I could be wrong, but you saw it. I think I now prefer those beautiful cell towers that are designed to look like trees by comparison. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Listen, Autoline today. R. Bremer, one of my regular correspondents, sent me the Autoline Daily, and he said this was one of their worst shows ever. And so I said, well, I guess I better take a look at it. Well, there was some questionable ideas in this particular broadcast, but I was most interested that they were quite concerned about the need for Tesla to do a major redo on the Model 3 and Model Y because they're just aging. They're just getting old, The Model 3, of course, just had a 50% refresh, and the reviews on that new vehicle are off the charts. He didn't say that. In fact, I think they might have even reviewed it and said it was a great car. And then the Model Y is only 3 or 4 years. Is it 4 years? No, maybe it's 5 years old now. It's not really, a lot of cars go 7 years before a major refresh, and they're planning a refresh, I believe, around the beginning of next year. I would have liked to have seen the Model Y get all the same treatments. You've heard me rant about that in the past. But he went on to say, now this is a channel that a lot of times they're really right on, and I've really respected what they had to say. But he said that, for most people, the style statement is the most important way that people buy their cars. And they have to have the latest version so that they look like they're just, driving a brand new car. How out of touch can a person be? I mean, he's younger than me, but that was like a 20th century statement. We're in a new world in that regard. Utility, function, long lasting, safe, and yes, green are very important to buyers today. I am super shocked that he didn't talk about brand identification. Brand loyalty is even generational. It's from generation to generation. People stay with the same brands. And guess where Tesla fits in that category? They're off the charts, leader by a huge percentage over anybody in their category or class. And over 50% of people make their primary decision based on buying the same brand that they're loyal to, that they like, that they've had experience with. Well, and then I went down, I thought, okay, I want to take a look at some more information here because I think I've talked about it on the show before that women are completely different than men in how they make decisions. And so CarScoop said, women value practical benefits such as durability and reliability, safety and affordability more than men, who are drawn to the interior layout, exterior styling, technology, and ruggedness. They're also less likely to buy based on brand. And what about the brand aspect of Tesla? Well, CarScoops also said the individual brand with the most loyal customers last year was Tesla. The second year in a row, they had won the award and was only the beginning of its successes. Tesla also won the highest conquest percentage award. That means people that have switched brands, and the alternative powertrain loyalty to make, also the ethnic market loyalty to make awards. Well, finally, in this subject matter that we're talking about here, I did want to also mention women so far, though, have been not as likely to go to BEV due to their worries about the FUD that's out there about charging challenges and vehicle fires. Now, the charging challenges are true for other brands, but somehow we haven't been able to get them the message that it's not true for Tesla. One of the things, of course, that I also rant about from time to time. Okay, this is Ray DeKirk. Please like, subscribe, hit notify tomorrow morning. What do we got? We got Larry Goldberg. Yeah, and Larry and I, we're going to be talking a lot, not exclusively, but we're going to be talking about the All In podcast today because they, in my opinion, they hit it out of the park about where the economy is right now. They also believe that we might be in a kind of, how do they put it, synthetic recession. That's one of the guys call it that, I think. I'm thinking that, we might be in a recession. We might be going into recession. But the public believes we're in recession. The public believes things are far worse than they theoretically are based on the GDP numbers and based on, but when you ask the folks, they're saying things aren't that great by a huge percentage. What's going on? What's the disconnect? Larry and I are going to get into the weeds on that tomorrow morning, in addition to talking, of course, about Tesla and other fun things. So a little bit of now, we'll talk about the economy a little bit. Fast food meal price inflation has skyrocketed by 41% since 2017. 41% since 2017. By comparison, average hourly earnings of non-managerial jobs have only increased by 36% during that same time. Then over just the last 4 years, so pre-pandemic to now, fast food prices have increased by 31% versus the average hourly wage surge of 25%. Meanwhile, over the last decade, prices of McDonald's have doubled. In fact, I think we can find stats that'll show you that actually the prices of McDonald's, some of their items have doubled or more than doubled just in the last couple of years. Since the pandemic, fast food restaurants have been seeing larger price hikes than grocery and gas prices. Fast food is no longer affordable to the folks. Okay, and that's a big problem for the current economy. And this is why we're seeing people being concerned. Their credit card debt, their credit card interest charges are higher. Their credit card debt is higher. They don't have any, they've used up the savings that they got from COVID. There's no new money coming in unless the government finds new ways to send them out free money. It's not going to happen. So what is going to happen as a result of that? Again, we'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow. Now, that last was from the Kobesi letter, and so is this. It says stock concentrations have accelerated. The top 10 companies share in the S&P 500 right now is at 35%. This is the highest recorded percentage in over 50 years. It now exceeds the year 2000 dot-com bubble peak by 8 percentage points. So it must have been about 42% at that point. Meanwhile, NVIDIA alone has contributed 39% of the S&P's market cap gain year to date. He says his conclusion is that the market cannot function without big tech. Well, as always, I don't necessarily always agree with Kobesi's his conclusions as much as I'd like to see his numbers. He's really good at bringing us the numbers. So what do I think about this concentration? I think the concentration is a real problem. I think that the mid-cap stocks and the small company caps, small company stocks, and the tiny businesses, the small businesses, are all not doing nearly as well as these big top tech companies. And this is, you can see this in lots of ways. But the small business, the Federation of I'm always forgetting that particular acronym. But anyway, the surveys that done of the small businesses is similar to the survey that's being done with consumers. And what is turning out every single time they're taking that survey is small businesses are saying, we can't get the price. We're getting prices increases that we can't pass along. We're having to pay more wages that we can't pass along. We're not doing as well, and we don't expect to do as well. So the small business, of course, the engine of the country, and they're continuing to sing the same song as the folks are. So what's going on? Well, again, I think you're going to find tomorrow morning's program extremely interesting as we do cover that in tomorrow's program with Larry. Okay, so what happened to the markets today? Well, it was a good day for Tesla, up $5.50, and in the after hours, only losing 34 cents of that. The Dow was up only $4. The NASDAQ jumped $184.70, $184, jumped 184.76. The S&P jumped 36.88. If we translate that into percentages, we've got the Dow basically, of course, even 0.01% up, NASDAQ 1.1% up, and the S&P up 0.7%, but Tesla beating everybody, up 3.17%, with Apple up 166, Meta up 267, NVIDIA up 2.57%. So Tesla, basically led the pack today, up and down over the last 7 days. We'll see what happens. Short week next week, and we got PCE at the end of the week, so should be an interesting time. We've got basically the Magnificent Seven were all up except for Amazon. We have got the Cathie Woods were mixed, and a couple of them up a lot, a couple of them down a lot. So very mixed indeed. All right, let's go see where bonds ended up as we go into this 3-day weekend. Bonds ended up, okay, I should have set that up in advance. I'm so sorry. Here we go. We've got bonds 0.8, so 0.8 of 1 basis point on the 10-year. And we have got the 2-year, that was down, by the way, 0.8 down. The 2-year, 1.5 up. So once again, that spread has increased again, almost 100 basis points, almost 50 basis points, not quite. And the 2-month is up 0.8%. And so that is sitting around over 90, but not 100 basis points there. Just so we keep that inversion in mind, I'm beginning to wonder what it means, and nobody's talking about it. How did oil end up? Well, oil ended up by 93 cents to 77.80. Brent unchanged at 82.12. Natural gas down 5.8%. So I guess it did get a little out there. So a lot of profit taking on that one, back down to $2.5. So gold down $2. at 23.35, back into that trading range. And then copper down 0.7% today at 4.759. Also, a lot of profit taking in that category. The dollar slipped a bit, but it's still in great shape, of course. If you like a high dollar, of course, a high dollar makes it less expensive for you to travel, but it makes it and less expensive for me to import, but it makes it more expensive for you to if you're an exporter, it makes it more difficult to sell your product overseas. So balance of trade problems, et cetera, et cetera. All right. The Bitcoin ended up 1,288 today, so it's been bouncing around as much as Tesla. It is at 68,588, and there's no pre-market, of course. So that's well, let me just remind you that earlier today, there was a Scott Walter video that I did. And as always, Scott is just absolutely amazing. There was a very low number of people that watched that video. Maybe you guys are traveling. Maybe this was your travel day. You're getting out of town. If you get a chance, if you watch this and you get a chance, you definitely want to go back and watch Scott Walter. I thought last night's visit with Bradford Ferguson was probably the best show he and I have ever done together. I thought it was very informative. If you didn't see that one, you might want to go check it out as well. And then again, tomorrow morning, just reminding you, we will have Larry Goldberg. And of course, I'd love to have you put a tip money in the Patreon jar. Would you consider that? This is Randy Kirk. It's been great talking to you.